What Jesus is asking us in today's gospel is that we should not return hatred for hatred or hostility for hostility. This is an attitude that the church in all its 2,000 years of existence has hardly understood. A blessed day to you, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ. Today I will share to you my reflection for the seventh Sunday in Ordinary Time. In our Gospel today, it talks about God's great expectation from all of us, that we have to love, but a different kind of love. We have actually three kinds of love. That is, eros, or romantic love, that is the love of a lover to his beloved, and vice versa. And second is philia, or brotherly or sisterly love, the love that we experience within a family. And lastly is agape. Agape is the unconditional love. It is the highest form of love. It means that no matter what the person does to us, we will never allow ourselves to desire anything but his highest good. We will deliberately and set of purpose go out of our way to be good and kind to him. Agape is what Jesus is urging us to do. But why should we Christians are called to love our enemies, do good to those who hate us, bless those who curse us, pray for those who mistreat us, offer the other cheek and give your other cloak, lend money and expect nothing back, not to judge, be compassionate and to forgive? This is too much. This is unfair. This is injustice. We can't bear all of this. But Jesus' teaching is opposite to the teachings of the world, because the world is teaching us to stay in the old law, to focus on the old law. And what is the old law saying? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This is how the world understands justice. If you are slapped on the right cheek, slap also his right cheek. If you lend the money and that person failed to pay the due, then sue him in the court. And the world says to err is human, to forgive is divine. That forgiving is only proper to God. And since we are not God, then forgiveness should not be expected from us. But if we continue to follow what the world taught us, then peace will be an elusive dream. Violence will be perpetuated, and typically division will be a norm. If the world will apply the old rule or the old law, many people will become blind and lose their teeth. But if we understand clearly Jesus' teaching and take it seriously, then violence will be answered by peace. Hatred should be defeated by love. Injury should be healed by forgiveness, and evil should be controlled by goodness. To answer the question why we should follow the radical teaching of Jesus in today's gospel, it is because we are all children of God, the Most High, who is Himself good to the ungrateful and the wicked. Jesus sets us an example by applying all that He taught us in our gospel today in real life situation. When He was hanging on the cross and insulted, He remained calm and said, "Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing." What Jesus is asking us in today's gospel is that we should not return hatred for hatred or hostility for hostility. This is an attitude that the church in all its 2,000 years of existence has hardly understood. It took godly men like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. to reawaken Christians to the importance of nonviolence. as the norm of the Christian response to persecution, oppression, abuse, and injustice. I remember the story of a certain monk. So while he was praying under a tree beside the river, as he prayed, the tide was coming and the river was rising. Then he noticed a scorpion at the foot of the tree struggling for life. As the surging waves tried to drown him, the monk stretched out his hand to pull the scorpion to safety. But each time his hand came near, the scorpion tried to sting him. A passerby saw what was going on and said to the monk, "What are you doing? Don't you know that it is the nature of a scorpion to sting?" "Yes," replied the monk, "and it is in my nature also to save. Must I change my nature because the scorpion refuses to change his?" Well, the challenge for us Christians is to remain true to our nature to love, even when the people around us remain adamant. Non-violence is not limited to social movements. It is required also in a family and interpersonal relationships. While we should do all we can to put an end to an abusive situation, the gospel reminds us today that, in the words of Mahatma Gandhi and King, an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. If there is in our lives a scorpion of hate that delights in stinging us, let us, like the monk, let us imitate the monk, remain faithful to our commitment to love, because after all, we are a religion of love.